Hey guys, so today we are going to review a little about ratios, rates, and proportions. So if you look at number 1, it says, use the image to write the ratio of cats to dogs in 3 ways using simplest form. So if we take a look at the picture given to us of the cats and dogs, first it asked us how many cats are there. So there is 1, 2 cats. Now we need to look at how many dogs there are. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4 dogs. There are 3 ways we can write a ratio. The first way is writing it using a fraction bar. So it asked us cats to dogs. So cats goes first, 2 over 4. The second way to write a ratio is using the word to. So 2 cats to 4 dogs. And the third way to write a ratio is using a colon. So we can write 2 colon 4. Now be careful, in the question it said write it in simplest form. In this case, 2 to 4 is not in simplest form. We can simplify that to 1 over 2, 1, 2, 2, and 1 colon 2. And that would be our final answer. Number 2 asks us to circle the ratios that are proportional. Now there are 2 ways to tell if a ratio is proportional. Our first way is to simplify both sides of the equal sign. So on the left, we have 9 over 24. If we divide both of those by 3, we can simplify that to 3 over 8. On the right, we have 18 over 48. And if we divide by 6 on both sides, we are left with 3 eighths. So when we simplified both sides of this ratio, we can see that 3 eighths equals 3 eighths. So this ratio is proportional. The second way to tell if a ratio is proportional is to see if you can multiply by the same number to get the other side of the equal sign. Take a look at what I mean. We have 13 over 25 equals 26 over 50. If we take 13 and we multiply by 2, we get 26. Now looking at the bottom, the denominators, if we do 25 times 2, we get 50. This tells us, since we multiply by the same number, these ratios are proportional. Try the next 2 on your own and check back with the video to see how you did. So for 14 over 42, you should have simplified that to 1 over 3. And then on the right, 16 over 36, that simplifies to 4 over 9. Both of those are in simplest form, so we know these are not proportional ratios. Now for the last one, we have 20 over 36 equals 50 over 90. On the left, if you would have simplified by 4, so 20 divided by 4 gets us 5, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. And then on the right, 50 over 90, if you simplified by 10, 50 divided by 10 is 5, 90 divided by 10 is 9. So when you simplify both of those ratios, you get 5 over 9, which means these ratios are proportional. Number 3 says, Mrs. Allen organizes binders at a constant rate of 25 binders in 5 minutes. What is the rate? What is the unit rate? So for this, we have to set up a proportion. They tell us that 25 binders can be made in 5 minutes. So that's our left side of our proportion. Now on the right, we want to get our denominator to be 1. Okay, in this case, we want to find out how many binders can be made in 1 minute. We need to divide by our denominator, 5, and what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top as well. So 5 divided by 5 gets us 1. 25 divided by 5 gets us 5 binders in 1 minute, which is our unit rate. Number 4 says, Wi-Fi City charges $28.14 for 7 minutes of internet. Set up a proportion to find the unit cost. So, just like number 3, we need to set up our proportion first. On top, we have our money, $28.14 over 7 minutes. Now that's our left side of our proportion. On the right side, we want our denominator to be 1, so 1 minute in this case, and we're trying to find out how much it'll cost for 1 minute. We need to divide by our denominator, which was 7. So we have 7 divided by 7 gets us 1 minute, and $28.14 divided by 7 will give us our unit cost. Go ahead and do that division on your own and find the unit cost. Check back with the video to check your answer. You should have gotten a unit cost of $4.02 for 1 minute of internet. Now number 5 asks us to find the unit rate for both Jif peanut butter and Skippy peanut butter. And then they want us to compare the two and find which one is the better buy. So let's start with Jif peanut butter. Jif is $2.05 for 5 ounces of peanut butter. Remember, that's our left side of our proportion. On the right side, we want our denominator to be 1. So in this case, it's 1 ounce. And we're looking for our unit rate, our cost for 1 ounce. So we're going to divide by our denominator, 5. What we do on the bottom, we have to do on the top. So we need to divide $2.05 divided by 5. 5 can't go into 2, so we put a 0. Push our decimal through the roof. 5 can go into 20 4 times. Subtract 20 minus 20 gets us 0. Bring down our 5, and 5 can go into 5 1 time, and we're left with no remainder. So for Jif peanut butter, the cost for 1 ounce is 41 cents. Go ahead and do the same thing we just did, but do it for Skippy peanut butter, and then find which one would be your better buy. For Skippy peanut butter, you should have gotten a unit rate of 31 cents. Go ahead and check your work. So if Skippy peanut butter was 31 cents and Jif peanut butter was 41 cents, Skippy is going to be our better buy. For number 6, it says Kelton typed 7 sentences in 5 minutes. What is the unit rate? What is the equation? I would like you to find the unit rate by yourself, then come back to the video and we will talk about what the equation is. So you should have set up your proportion, 7 sentences in 5 minutes. So your left side, and your right side gets you need a 1 on the bottom, and we're looking for how many sentences we can type in 1 minute. So we need to divide by our denominator, divide by 5, divide by 5. So we need to do 7 divided by 5 to find our unit rate. 5 goes into 7 1 time. Do our subtraction. We're left with 2. Since that's a 7, a whole number, we put our decimal after. We can shoot that through the roof. And then we add a 0. 5 can go into 20 4 times. So we'll put our 4 and do our subtraction. This tells us that Kelton can type 1.4 sentences in 1 minute, which is our unit rate. Now, our equation is always y equals unit rate x. So the number that constantly changes is our unit rate. Y and x are always brought with us. So in this case, our equation would be y equals 1.4x, because 1.4 was our unit rate. For number 7, it says Cammie's pig gained 3.5 pounds. Use a proportion to find how many ounces it gained. So they tell us 16 ounces, 16 ounces is 1 pound. And it wants us to find how many ounces is 3.5 pounds. So this proportion is a little bit different. We're not just dividing by our denominator. In this case, we need to cross multiply with the two numbers that we have. If you can see, across from 1 pound is our question mark, but across from 16 ounces, if you go diagonally, is 3.5 pounds. So we're going to, step 1, multiply 16 times 3.5. 16 times 3.5. I'm going to do it in decimal form. 6 times 5 gets us 30. Carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Tick, tack, toe. 3 times 6 is 18. Put the 8, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. We're done multiplication, so now we can add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 8 is 16. Put the 6, carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Now be careful. Decimals, there was 1 decimal in the problem, so in the answer, I need to move my decimal in 1 place. So 16 times 3.5 is 56. Now step 2 is to take our answer, 56, and divide it by our leftover number in our proportion. In this case, our leftover number is 1, and 56 divided by 1 is just 56. So our answer is 56 ounces. Number 8 is similar to number 7. So let's start by setting up our proportion. For every 3 games the Braves played, they lost 2. So 3 games, and 2 of them they lost. So there's our left side. On the right, we're looking for how many games they lost. So there's our question mark. If they played 78 games. So it's 2 steps again. We need to multiply across diagonally with the numbers we have. So 2 times 78 needs to be our first step. 2 times 78 gets us 156. Now our second step is to take that number, 156, and divide it by our leftover number in our proportion. So we need to divide by 3. So 156 divided by 3. 3 goes into 1 0 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So do our subtraction. Bring down our 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. And we're left with no remainder. So our final answer would be 52 games lost.